fought for a better future of our region. I would like to invite everyone to stand up for a minute of silence as a homage to the leaders and the brave soldiers who have departed. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's been exactly 1 year that the Republic of Angola took the chairmanship of Sadc with the commitment of proceeding with the industrialization agenda that has started on the 44th summit of Sadc held here in Zimbabwe, when the organization took the bold decision of placing industrialization at the center of its regional integration agenda, and with the drafting of the strategy and roadmap for Sadc industrialization. To spur on this agenda, the summit adopted the theme Human Capital, Key Drivers Towards Sustainable Industrialization of Sadc region. Since one of our major objectives is the skills that allow for access to jobs and allow for our region to be ready for the challenges of the fourth industrial revolution. In applying this theme, we have worked with the Secretariat in order to support member states in promoting and developing value chains that are key for production and processing of agriculture, pharmaceutical, mining products, to strengthen and maximize regional benefits. Based on this, I welcome the fact that under the next leadership of the Republic of Zimbabwe, we will still count on the dynamic nature of this country to push this industrialization agenda so that we can consolidate the gains that we've had so far with the adoption of this theme of promoting innovation to unlock opportunities for sustainable economic growth and development towards industrialized Sadc. With this theme, I am absolutely sure that our region will take advantage of science, technology, and innovation to spur on industrialization as a key driver for socio-economic transformation, which will be seen in this southern part of Africa. Since human resources are key for the development of these value chains and for an industrialization, a sustainable industrialization, our region has had some significant progress in operationalizing the Sadc University in order to develop and maintain human capital to meet the technical and technological needs of our efforts aimed at industrialization. On the other hand, I would like to state that currently our region has a deficit in terms of infrastructure financing, well over $30 billion US. So we need to proceed as fast as possible in operationalizing the Regional Development Fund, which was one of the major objectives of the chairmanship that is ending today, in order to support industrial development, social and human development, as well as the development of infrastructure, so that we can sustain the development of our region. I would like to take advantage of this opportunity to appeal to the private sector, financing institution and ICPs to join us and support with resources the implementation of some of our regional projects that are key and cover strategic areas which are in the Regional Indicative Development Plan for 2020 to 2030. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, under the development to support regional integration, during the chairmanship that ends today, our region has seen considerable progress in the energy, transport, water resource, shared water resources, ITC, and weather. Based on this, I think it is important to state that Sadc region currently has 86% of mobile network coverage, which is very close to the 95% objective for 2030. The internet coverage is estimated at 54%, meaning more than half of our population has access to this form of communication. All this is a result of the dynamic collaboration between the member states who have organized themselves to invest in digital infrastructure and reduce service costs in these areas and promoting digital literacy. With regards to energy resources, it is important to ensure in our region access to energy at reasonable prices so we can spur the industrialization and create more opportunities in the region. A population with access to electricity, was way below the levels that have been set as objectives. In some member states, it was possible to get to 100% access, but there are others where we had, unfortunately, less than 20%. It is important to highlight that the power generation capacity in most member states of our region does not meet the needs since 2008, except Angola, Mozambique, Tanzania, where in April 2024 there was a surplus of energy when compared to the current consumption of energy in these countries. Access to this surplus has not been possible due to the low expansion of transmission networks and lack of interconnectors for all that can connect all member states of the region. Taking into account the low access to these resources, to this resource, which is energy, our region needs to continue investing in energy infrastructure to increase production, transmission and diversification of energy sources, and adopt sustainable practices that are crucial for a proper supply of energy, promote economic development, and build a more prosperous Sadc region. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot talk about an integrated region region without free movement of people in the region. By so doing, through our borders, we can promote economic development, social development, and cultural exchanges. And it's based on this fact that I noted that last year we have had so many efforts to improve the free movement of goods and people in our region. Some member states have introduced visa exemptions, and others have abolished visa requirement for all member states of Sadc. It is heartwarming to know that we are taking firm steps to remove barriers and restrictions to the free movement of people and goods. We have to highlight the cooperation between all member states of Sadc with regards to the creation of one-stop border posts in order to simplify and facilitate the movement amongst us. A number of such posts have been created in borders between Zambia and Zimbabwe, Botswana and Zambia, Malawi and Zambia, Tanzania and Zambia, and all together this helps in creating the necessary conditions to ease the movement of people, intra-regional trade, and a number of other factors which are important for development, and of which I'd like to highlight the cost of transport in our area. And under these efforts, we also have the Lobito Corridor, which is an important infrastructure in Angola, which will allow to link the DRC, Zambia, to the Atlantic Ocean, through which they'll be able to send raw materials, goods and services in a way that would encourage competition. And this facility will create dynamics that would stimulate regional economic growth, not only for the countries that are linked to it, but also for other countries that are part of Sadc. I would like to add to these factors that I've mentioned. There's also tourism, which has slowed down significantly during the COVID-19 period, which has since then been increasing exponentially, taking its place as an important contributor to economic growth and the GDP. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our region faces major challenges which are complex, and they require from us effort and special attention to face diseases and natural disasters that scourge Southern Africa. It is good to highlight the efforts of member states, and they do so in a determined way to reduce the number of cases of HIV/AIDS, and we have had a number of results which are heartwarming, as we have a reduction in the number of new infections between 2010 and 2022. These results deserve our applause, but we need to continue working on sensitizing the youth so as to take on behavior that keeps them safe and thereby avoid the spread of the disease amongst them. In February, I hosted an extraordinary summit of heads of state and government on the cholera situation in the region, and together we took measures to contain its spread and ensure the health and well-being of our populations. Based on these decisions, it was possible to contain the spread of cholera and support people and communities that have been affected by this disease. His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, the President of the Republic of Zambia, has successfully led the fight against cholera in Sadc region as a regional champion against cholera. Our heartfelt thanks for these efforts. With regards to health, I would like to also highlight the fact that we also had success that's noteworthy in the fight against malaria, and the incidence rate has reduced significantly. During this year, when I was at the helm of our organization, we had to deal with a number of other situations that required collective action. And we've held a virtual virtual summit in May on natural disasters, which implies prioritizing infrastructure and reduce the vulnerability of our people, the people in our region. At this summit, in which we touched on drought, floods resulting from El Nino, we launched a regional humanitarian appeal for Sadc aimed at mobilizing at least $5.5 billion to complement the national resources of affected member states. I would like to say that the amounts mobilized so far are unfortunately well below the estimated amounts, and I would like to therefore reiterate this appeal to regional and international partners, to the private sector and member states, to redouble their efforts so that we can achieve the amounts that we need and provide help to our people who are affected by El Nino phenomenon. We have received from experts of our region some information of possible new occurrences in the coming years of drought, cyclones, landslides, wildfires, and the rise of sea level as a result of climate change and a number of other factors. In order to protect ourselves against such situations, last year the Sadc Humanitarian Operations Center has been operationalized, which will help in coordinating the preparation, response, and rapid recovery from disasters, under the support that will be given to affected member states that are affected by natural disasters. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the issues of peace and security of our region are still at the center of our attention, and are part of the priority issues of Sadc, and we have made all necessary effort to maintain a climate of peace and tranquility in Southern Africa, which prevails, although we have some conflict in Eastern DRC, which is a challenge that we are trying to address, and we have good prospects on it, taking into account the understandings that the agreements that have been reached in this region between the DRC and Rwanda from the 8th of August. We will work towards the negotiation and the signing of a definitive peace agreement. The Republic of Angola, as a mediator, has submitted to Rwanda and the DRC a draft peace agreement, which is being reviewed by the two countries, and it will be discussed and negotiated between ministerial delegations of the Republic of the DRC and Rwanda as from the 20th August 2024 in Luanda. We would like to highlight the role of the chair of the organ has played in order to carry out this mission, Sadc mission in the DRC, in order to have a positive contribution to the creation of an environment that allows for mitigating the conflict factors. There is also the situation of the security situation in Cabo Delgado province in Mozambique, in which on the 4th July this year, the Sadc mission has come to an end, and this mission has played an important role in helping Mozambique in facing terrorism and extremist violence, violent extremism, and we have been able to address the issue. The end of the mission in Mozambique is not the end of our commitment to continue supporting the efforts of this sister country aimed at having peace, which is necessary for the progress of the country. In this globalized world, Sadc pays attention to peace and security issues throughout the world, without which all efforts to ensure food security will be compromised. It is therefore urgent to end the war in Sudan, given the serious consequences on the lives of people who are facing one of the worst humanitarian catastrophes. There is the destruction of infrastructure in the country, and given its location and the size of the country, it is a major threat to countries of Great Lakes and the Eastern Bloc. Peace has to be negotiated with all parties in that conflict in order to address the current situation and afford the country an opportunity to reconstruct, to rebuild, and ensure the return of displaced persons to come and develop their economy. We also defend the end to the war in Ukraine through negotiations that respect the principles of independence and sovereignty of countries as per the international law and the UN Charter. Having condemned the attacks on the 7th October 2023 against Israeli citizens, we also condemn the genocide that the country is witnessing in the Gaza Strip against the Palestinians, and the main victims are women, children, hospitalized persons. There's a need to negotiate peace, to end the war, free Israeli hostages, and Palestinian prisoners, as per the terms set out by the UN to end this conflict, which drags on for years, since the 50s, that was last century. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity to underline the role of Sadc in building the basis for regional integration. And there's been effort to promote socio-economic development of all its 16 member states. Having been given the honor of chairing Sadc over 12 months, I've been able to see the efforts that we've been applying to improve the situation in all member states and in the lives of its people. All results that have been achieved are based on the selfless work of the Secretariat led by His Excellency Mr. Makosi, who have not spared efforts in supporting tirelessly my chairmanship that I've exercised up until now. I'm now coming to the end of this term, and I am sure that the decisions from this summit, the 44th, will strengthen our collective action to surmount obstacles and face challenges we have in future to bring about a better future for our region as we want it to be industrialized, peaceful, inclusive, competitive, and of middle-high income, in which all citizens have an economic well-being, justice and freedom as we set out in the 2050 Sadc vision. It is now my honor and privilege to transfer the chairmanship, to hand over the chairmanship to my brother Emerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, who surely will apply all his knowledge in a committed manner in promoting initiatives that will help in accelerating our efforts for a deeper regional integration, sustainable development, peace and security. Allow me Your Excellencies to invite His Excellency Emerson Mnangagwa, the new chairperson of Sadc, to come for the official handover ceremony. Thank you very much to everyone.
Your Excellency, we request their Excellencies to just come in the center. We are now going to witness the handing over of the chair from the Republic of Angola to the Republic of Zimbabwe. And the chairperson, Republic of Angola, His Excellency, Mr. João Manuel Gonçalves Lorenzo, is going to give the chairpersonship pin to His Excellency, Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa. The pin is engraved with his name and his title as chairperson of Sadc. In addition to the pin, he is also going to hand over the gavel. The Republic of Angola is handing over the gavel, which is one of the instruments of power which we use to make decisions. May I ask President Mnangagwa to just show the audience that indeed he has received the gavel? Thank you. Thank you. Before we invite the new chairperson of Sadc to address us, may I request the audience to just give us 2 rounds of applause, one for Angola to thank them, and another for the Republic of Zimbabwe.
Beautiful. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's a deserved round of applause. We just witnessed a smooth handover of power. Let me, at this juncture, distinguished delegates, Your Majesty, distinguished heads of state and government, our honorable vice presidents, our first ladies, Speaker of Parliament, President of the Senate, President of the Pan-African Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and all esteemed delegates, allow me at this juncture to now invite the newly minted Chairman of Sadc, His Excellency, His Excellency President Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, to make his acceptance speech.
The First Lady, Amai Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, Your Majesty, King Mswati III of the Kingdom of Eswatini, Your Excellency João Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola and outgoing Chairperson of Sadc, Your Excellency Samia Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania and the Chairperson of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, Your Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia and outgoing Chairperson of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, and the Heads of Delegations, Your Excellency, Chairperson of the Sadc Panel of Elders, former President Jakaya Kikwete, Your Excellencies, First Ladies here present, Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable General Retired Dr. C. Julian Chiwenga, Vice President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Colonel Retired KCD Moadi, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Trade, and Chairperson of the Sadc Council of Ministers, Ambassador Frederick Shawa, Honorable Ministers and various political leaders of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Your Excellency, my dear brother, Elias Magosi, Sadc Executive Secretary, Your Excellency, Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, Ambassador Clever Gatete, Your Excellencies, Heads of Regional Economic Communities and International Organizations who are here, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senior officials and delegates from Sadc member states, distinguished guests, members of the media, fellow Sadc citizens, may I express my profound appreciation to His Excellency João Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola, for the astute and visionary leadership in steering our organization as Chairperson of Sadc during the past year. We heartily congratulate, commend him for ably navigating the various challenges we faced and for ensuring that the integration agenda of our region remained on course. On behalf of the people and government of Zimbabwe, I take over the mantle of chairmanship as chairperson of Sadc with humility and grace. I look forward, Your Excellencies, to your invaluable support and drawing from your vast experiences and counsel as we advance our regional agenda for the benefit of our Sadc citizens. Allow me to also acknowledge the dedication and leadership demonstrated by His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, in his capacity as the chairperson of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation. The organ remains a critical cog in nurturing unity, constitutionalism, democracy, and the rule of law, as well as peace and security in line with the founding values, ethos, and principles of Sadc. Similarly, I congratulate His Excellency Samia Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, for her assumption of the stewardship over the organ of politics, defense and security cooperation. Rest assured of my full support, my dear President. Your Majesty, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this year's theme, and I quote, promoting innovation to unlock opportunities for sustainable economic growth and development towards an industrialized Sadc, end of quote, brings before the role of innovation in sustained economic transformation and development. It is a clarion call for our respective countries to leverage the region's human capital to spur technology and innovation that will leapfrog the modernization and industrialization of Sadc towards a higher quality of life of our citizens. To this end, it has become critically important and urgent to harness the potential of innovation to produce goods and services through value addition and a beneficiation of our rich mineral and related natural resources. The peoples of the region fought for our liberation, freedom, and independence, as well as the economic value of our land and that which is under it. The time is now. We must realize maximum value from our God-given rich natural endowments. The importance of developing innovative strategies across all sectors of our economies to accelerate the realization of our collective development agenda cannot be overemphasized. This is more so as the fourth industrial revolution continues to impact and transform the way we operate and execute our work. Our Sadc bloc cannot afford to fall behind in the new and fast-changing frontier of science, technology, and innovation. These aspects are prerequisites for increased productivity and indeed the bedrock upon which other parts of the world, industrialized countries, developed on. Let us therefore match our aspirations set out in the Sadc industrialization strategy and roadmap 2015 to 2063 with concrete and real actions. It is pleasing that the successful Sadc Industrialization Week and Investment Forum provided a public-private engagement platform where participants discussed and shared innovative approaches. The 7th Sadc Public Lecture also helped raise public awareness on the critical role of innovation in promoting and deepening the Sadc regional integration efforts. Stakeholders across the region are exhorted to scale up people-to-people and business-to-business exchanges for enhanced synergies and collaboration. Our institutions of higher learning, the academia, scientists and innovators must equally strengthen linkages to further drive the innovation, modernization and industrialization of our region. In the case of Zimbabwe, we have set up several innovation hubs at all our state universities and related institutions of higher learning. These have achieved remarkable success in developing a sense of self-belief, skills and competencies. Further, initiatives under the programs have transformed livelihoods, communities and the economy as a whole through the production of appropriate goods and services for our people. The need to ensure that our youth and entrepreneurs, including women, fully embrace the technology and innovation revolution should be one of our key priorities in the region. Through purposeful collaboration in the ICT sector, we can advance our collective interests as a region, including closing the digital divide. As the current crop of leaders, we have a weighty responsibility to facilitate a conducive environment for our citizenry to thrive and do their part for the realization of the modern industrialized Sadc we all want. No one and no country should be left behind. Your Majesty, Excellencies and distinguished guests, the democracy, independence and freedom being enjoyed by the peoples of the region were paid for through the sweat, tears and the blood of yesteryear heroes and heroines, as well as sons and daughters of Sadc. We have a sacred duty to honor them all by jealously guarding and defending our sovereignty and the right to economic self-determination as a people. We are a proud Southern African people with a rich history and a brighter future for ourselves. Let us never sacrifice our unity, solidarity, or African culture for political or economic expediency. Ultimately, the burden and responsibility to build our countries and the region as a whole for sustainable prosperity lies with us and nobody else, the great people of Sadc. In Zimbabwe, our development philosophy is that it's better in Shona. I'll translate in English. In Zimbabwe, our development philosophy is that a country is built, should be governed, and should be prayed for by its own people. We say, Nyika inovakwa, igotongwa, igonamatirwa, Never, never. Likewise, our region Sadc will be modernized and industrialized by its own citizens through our individual and collective efforts. Those who seek to help us are welcome. However, they must do so on our terms, guided by our priorities and respecting our respective sovereignties. I therefore challenge my fellow citizens of the region to remain unapologetic and confident in who we are as a people and in our God-given abilities as a people. Through unity and hard, honest work, nothing is impossible. Your Excellencies, regrettably, the region continues to experience climate change-induced natural disasters, which have had far-reaching negative impacts on human and food security. In light of the lessons learned, investments in transformative agriculture and food systems must be scaled up. Through robust climate mitigation strategies and resilience-building mechanisms, we must continually strive to be a region capable of feeding ourselves. The full operationalization of the Sadc Humanitarian and Emergency Center must be given due attention. During our wars of liberation, we shared trenches and our countries to dislodge the racist colonial regimes for the realization of our independence and freedom. Now, in plenty and in luck, in good times and in bad times, we shall continue to stand as one united and indivisible Sadc. In accelerating the modernization and industrialization of our countries, the broadening and expansion of our energy infrastructure, with particular emphasis on renewables, is critically important. As developing countries, we contribute the least to global carbon emissions, and yet we are the most affected. In an endeavor to promote the green agenda, my government is broadening our country's energy mix. This has seen the generation of energy from waste along with other renewable energy sources. One such facility which converts waste to energy is Geopomona Waste Management Plant. A visit to the facility has been arranged as part of our program on the 18th of August, which is perhaps tomorrow. Your Majesty, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as I assume the chairmanship of Sadc, I'm aware of the historic and momentous role played by our founding fathers and their vision for a united, independent, integrated, peaceful and prosperous region. It is indeed most opportune that this fourth ordinary Sadc summit is convening a few days after we commemorated our 44th National Heroes Day on 12th August 2024 here in Zimbabwe. We remain mindful that the protracted struggle for the liberation of our beloved motherland, Zimbabwe, would have never been realized without the support of our brothers and sisters in our region, as well as other progressive countries from beyond. We are forever grateful. It is in this unquenchable spirit that Zimbabwe is pleased to invite Your Excellencies and your esteemed delegations to witness the unveiling of the Sadc Liberation Square, which is located within the premises of the Museum of African Liberation. This true story of our rich liberation heritage must be preserved and told to present and future generations through our own African narratives. For a people without knowledge of their history, their origin or their culture are like trees without roots. Earlier this year, our region was saddened by the passing on of the President of the Republic of Namibia, His Excellency Comrade Hage Geingob. He was a liberation hero, visionary statesman, and a pragmatic leader who served not only the people of Namibia, but Sadc as a whole. A staunch defender of African independence, freedom and non-interference in our internal affairs, his unwavering commitment to justice, dignity, and equality will be treasured for posterity. May his soul continue to rest in eternal peace. Your Excellencies, Your Majesty, it is my humble and sincere hope that the Sadc year ahead will enable us to accelerate the implementation of regional projects and programs. These include those related to cross-border energy projects, transport infrastructure development, as well as climate proofing, our agriculture, and growing our manufacturing, tourism, SMEs, among other critical sectors of our respective economies. As member states, let us double efforts through innovation to improve on our implementation scoreboard, while scaling up the regional industrialization integration agenda. None of our countries must be left behind. As I conclude, may I once again express my sincere appreciation to you all for your calls for the immediate and unconditional lifting of the illegal sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe by our detractors in the West. We strongly condemn the use of sanctions and other coercive measures as a foreign political tool against developing countries. By the same token, allow me to call for the end of the conflict in Palestine and appeal for the respect of United Nations resolutions on the two-state solution. Similarly, the independence of the peoples of the West Sahrawi is long overdue. Zimbabwe is a friend to all and an enemy to none. We firmly believe in dialogue and diplomacy as the sustainable route for the resolution of any conflict or any disputes. We thus stand ready to play our part for consolidating peace, unity, security, and stability of our Sadc region, and silencing the guns on our African motherland continent. Going forward, as I humbly assume this chairmanship of our august bloc Sadc, I want to assure the people of our Sadc region that Zimbabwe will continue to advance the cherished founding principles, the values, the goals and objectives envisioned by the great luminaries and the founding fathers of our region. A luta continua, victory is certain. With these remarks, may I once again welcome you, Your Majesty, Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, and wish you all a productive and fruitful summit and stay in Zimbabwe. Long live Sadc unity, long live solidarity, long live our independence and freedom, long live African unity. God bless you all. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We may take our seats. Once again, congratulations to His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Dambuza Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, on the assumption of duty as Chairman of Sadc. I was going to say, allow me on my own behalf, on behalf of my family, to be the first one to congratulate him, but I think I'm among the top table to congratulate him. So congratulations, Mr. President. This concludes the opening session of this 44th Sadc Summit of Heads of State and Government. At this juncture, I would like to make some announcements that will help us proceed to the next activities. With regards to the summit, at 2 p.m., His Majesty, distinguished heads of state and government, will proceed to a closed session in the National Assembly Hall, and they will emerge from there for a closing ceremony in the same hall at 5 p.m. From now, we will now proceed to lunch, and the first to leave the room will be His Majesty, Our Excellencies, the Heads of State and Government, followed by the First Ladies. They will proceed to the holding room from where they will be directed to lunch. After that, they will be followed by the Honorable Vice President, Dr. C.G.D.N. Chiwenga, and Comrade Kembo Mohadi, Vice President, and the Speaker of the National Assembly, Comrade Jacob Mdenda, Speaker of Senate, Comrade Mabel Chinomona, as well as the President of the Pan-African Parliament, Chief Fortune Charumbira. We will all live in an orderly manner, just as organized as Sadc is, and we will live in alphabetical order. So after the heads of state and government have left, the first ladies, our vice presidents, and the front row, we will then move country by country, starting with Angola, Botswana, Comoros, Democratic Republic of Congo, Swaziland, Lesotho, Eswatini, Lesotho, Madagascar, Malawi, Mauritius, Mozambique, Namibia, Seychelles, South Africa, Tanzania, Zambia. Wish to thank you for a very successful opening session. I'd like to now invite our heads to leave and thank the audiences who've been watching on social media and television for joining us live from the new Parliament building in Mount Hampton in Zimbabwe's capital city. My name is Super Collins Mandiwanzira, and my co-host has been Barbara Lopi from Zambia. We thank you.
Tikuenderera mberi tikupa igazo kuitika kuno ku new Parliament building kune msangano 44th